Hi, good day. This is Cherian Kuruvila, CK. I'm going to be talking today more about the whole aspect of coaching. Right? In fact, as I mentioned in my earlier video, this is part of a series of a presentation which I made recently, which spoke of my entire 40-year journey, right from the time I, got to the corporate sector, worked my way up various corporate leadership roles, and then moved into entrepreneurship 13 years ago and sort of reinvented ourselves as business mentors and coaches and facilitators. So while that presentation covered all the facets of what I do, what I'm attempting to do this time is to sort of just focus on the aspect of where we are and what do we do in the area of coaching, right? So that you get a much better idea of our journey as coaches over the last 12, 13 years and how different kinds of individuals in different kinds of roles and industries have also been impacted positively through that effect, right? So what I'm going to be doing over the next few minutes is to be taking you through the presentation, which I shared, and just to give you a quick flavor and take you through a better understanding of what this whole mysterious thing of coaching is all about, right? Is it for me? Just give me a minute while I share the screen. Thank you. Okay, so here goes. Like I said, my journey started about 13 years ago as a mentor and a coach, working with entrepreneurs, individuals, corporate leaders across the spectrum. And these are some of the ways that we've been giving back our learnings and experience through a variety of panels, discussions around leadership, around entrepreneurship, around various facets of mindset and success, right? So if you look at some of the roles I play, it's been captured there. It's about business coaching and mentoring, which is more focused on entrepreneurs. We have the holistic executive and leadership coaching, which is more for individuals. We have the leadership facilitation, which is more for groups. And there are the various panel and speaker engagements, which one gets invited to, right? So these are the various gaps that I would say I wear. I think it's important for you to know, why we do what we do, right? As facilitators, mentors, and coaches, right? The whole thing that drives me is in terms of whose life or business can I make a difference to today, right? Whose mindset can I change to do things differently, to relook at the way they look at things, right? And so that what happens is that it makes every today very powerful for me, right? Every morning when I wake up, I have a sense of purpose that today I could possibly make a difference to so and so or so and so, or you never know who reaches out, right? And I have a lot of people reaching out to me through LinkedIn and other sources, just to have a sounding board in terms of what do you think about this or what do you think about that. And I think just giving that 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 20 minutes does make a difference to them and to me as well, right? So this is really what we try and do. I had covered this in my earlier video, but I'm just covering it again, right? Our firm started 14 years ago in 2010 when we left the corporate sector, right? If you look at the right-hand side, both my partner Chari and myself together had about 60 years of experience when we started our journey across a variety of leadership roles and functions and departments. And the name of the company has actually come from both our names, as well as Transcend is talking about racing to the next level, which is what we again try to do with our work. On the services, like I mentioned briefly, we do cover business mentoring and coaching for business growth, which is more for entrepreneurs, family businesses, SMEs, etc. Coaching is for individuals. It's one-to-one. It's individual. It could be around leadership. It could be around holistic. It could be around any aspect that is relevant to that individual, which I'll talk a little bit more about. And then, of course, there's the knowledge share facilitation, which includes videos, webinars, etc. Right? Coming to this whole individual transformation journey, right? Now, there is mentoring and there is coaching. Both are very distinct. And in fact, I've done sessions on the difference between coaching and mentoring, when to choose this and when to choose that, right? Because there is a lot of lack of clarity in terms of which is the right option at a particular point of time. So in a way, because I'm a mentor and a coach, right, and I've been an industry leader, I've worked in various roles, in various kinds of roles. It could be sales, marketing, operations, P&L, business operations, project management. So whoever I am coaching, it could be a large senior corporate leader, it could be a mid-level leader, it could be an entry-level executive, it could be an entrepreneur, it could be an employee of an entrepreneur. The fact is we have to see what applies to that individual in the context in which they are there, right? So, I don't sort of classify myself as only a CXO coach or only a mid-level coach or only a life coach or only a wellness coach or only any one of those niches that normally is spoken about in the industry, right? The way I look at it, and if I look back at my 13 years of experience as a coach, right? Like you mentioned, it's covered business leaders, it's covered solo entrepreneurs, it's covered mid-level, it's covered CXOs. And it covers various facets, right? It could be a particular individual may need help on leadership. Somebody may need help on mindset. Somebody else may need help on career. Somebody may need help or not help, rather, relook in terms of their executive presence, their communication skills. It could be about their wellness. It could be about their relationship. So if you really look at it, it's a very holistic view of that individual, right? We're not here to fix one problem. Okay, you have a problem, you're getting stuck in your career, let's fix that. That mean, or we're having a problem with your leadership behaviors and style, let's fix that. The role of the coach is not to fix things. The role of the coach is to understand that individual beyond their professional avatar, right? There's always a professional avatar and there's a personal avatar, right? And the two cannot be kept as distinct, particularly in these days of hybrid working. They all get intermixed. So it's about knowing the individual, knowing where they are, where they would like to be, what possibly is holding them back, and what needs to get done. So it would cover any one of these areas, right? And if you look at the age group which I have worked with, I mean, I found that, 35 to 45, what I call the midlifers, are possibly constituting the bulk of the people that I have coached or the people who reached out to me for coaching. And that may be for a variety of reasons, right? At the midlife, you are almost always at a crossroad in terms of either it could be a problem, it could be a crisis, it could be an opportunity, or a combination of all three. And quite often, most executives or entrepreneurs at that particular stage in their life or career do not have somebody to bounce off and understand them and listen to them and guide them and make them see things in a different way, right? So I don't think it's any coincidence that 90% of my coaches have been from the midlifers, but there've also been a big batch of people I've coached in the early 20s who just entered the corporate sector and needed to understand how to navigate the corporate sector and build their presence or build their communication effectiveness. And the person I've coached at the other end was an MD of an organization who was 60, right? So age is not a consideration, role is not a consideration, gender is not a consideration, and it's not just about leadership or career or presence or communication, right? So I think that's the whole point I want to talk about, is that sometimes I wear the role of the cap of a coach, sometimes I wear the cap of a mentor. And it's quite possible that during the course of a discussion, the style is a hybrid mix of both. Because end of the day, one has to look at what is it that that individual actually needs. Do they only want questions, or do they want also some suggestions, right? So if you look at that post on the side, it talks about a coach has some great questions for your answers, the mentor has great answers for your questions. So sometimes it's good to have a combination of both. Thank you. So to give a feel of what it is, I think I've already spoken about the kind of people who get coached, and typically it does cover both professional and personal goals, right? It could be 2 or 3 professional goals, 1 or 2 personal goals, which are most important and critical to that individual, right? And typically goes on for about 10 sessions, 6 to 8 months. It's a very intense and very focused activity on for that individual, right? And we follow a holistic wheel of life. If you look at it, covers all aspects. It covers career, money, health, friends, relationships, growth, leisure, physical comfort. So it helps the individual reflect and helps me as a coach know what's working well and what's not working well in each of these areas. Right? Another important aspect which I normally follow is to get a 360 feedback or stakeholder feedback or feed forward from 8 to 10 to 12 to 15 to 20 people, depending on the kind of role that an individual is handling. So that one is to get to know the individual as they see themselves, and the other one is to get to know the individual as others see them, what others see as their strengths and what others see as their areas of development. All right, so I hope I'm sort of getting a more, giving you a better feel of how this whole coaching journey progresses, right? It's very focused, it's very systemic, it's very well documented, and everything is in a very open, transparent, honest kind of a trusting environment that gets created between the coach and the coachee, right? I'm not getting into this. There's some of the clients, which is a variety of MNCs, corporate clients, SMEs, and of course, many individuals who come from various companies. So, for instance, this was one of the gentlemen who reached out to me through LinkedIn, and he came to me because he was sort of at a crossroads on his career. The organization was going through a restructuring, and he sort of was looking for a much larger role. And so the whole coaching was then focused around him and what he needed to do to get himself prepared and ready for the kind of larger role, which actually he ended up getting along the way. Right? This was a case of a DGM of a family-owned small and medium enterprise. So other one was a multinational. This was a family SME, right? And here again, like I said, we have to, as coaches, we have to get down to the context of that individual in terms of what is most important for that individual. Right? Coming to the next one, this was a woman entrepreneur running a business for about 10 years. And, again, sort of feeling that we're reaching a dead end and don't know what next and stuff like that. So I think the coaching was again focused on what she needed to break out of that and start thinking of new ways, new avenues, new possibilities in that particular industry in which she was operating. Right? This was a executive vice president of a large housing finance firm. Again, here, because it was a large firm, number of stakeholders is very high, 360 played a very big role to get the coachee to understand how other stakeholders are perceiving him at the senior level, at the peer level, and at the team level. And many changes get triggered off by the 360 because one is the coachee gets much more aware of their strengths, right? And much more strengths than they saw in themselves. And they also get to see what the kind of areas for change, right? So if you look at this feedback, I'm not going through it, right? This is I was able to understand my weaknesses and get rid of, and my focus on strengths has gone up multifold. Right? Coaching has trained my brain to focus on possibility over problem. But this is the mindset change I was talking about. I'm a more composed, well-balanced self now. So coaching is not about changing an individual. Coaching is about fine-tuning. Fine-tuning, it could be a leadership behavior, it could be a mindset change, it could be the way you look at a relationship, it could be the way you look at your boss, right? And it's those minor shifts that get the frequency aligned to getting the individual back on track. And these are some of my recent cases which I've been handling. The one was again a GM of a manufacturing company who really benefited holistically from the whole coaching. I call this holistic coaching because it's not based on one particular aspect, right? If you look at his feedback, it's a change the way I approach both my personal and professional life. I've achieved significant personal growth, gained a renewed sense of purpose, and achieved tangible results that were once challenging to me. He could get back his focus on habits on fitness, mental well-being, meditation, book reading, and all the things that he was not able to do on a consistent basis. But I think through the process of coaching, he realized that it was not just about his work and profession. You can be doing well in your work, but be dissatisfied with the rest of your life. Or you could be doing okay the rest of your life, but not doing well in work. So I think life is about balance. Life is all about balance. And as a coach, because I'm a wellness practitioner myself and a meditator for 40 years, for me, coaching has to be holistic. It is not about fixing one particular problem. Right? Then the case below is again from the founder of a law firm who also felt that he was sort of reaching a dead end. He was stuck in his entrepreneurship. He wanted to take the organization to the next level. He wanted to take himself and his team to the next level, but needed somebody to, shake up things a little bit and get him out of his comfort areas and habits, which possibly were holding the organization back and holding him back, right? And the point we make is that when you're dealing with an entrepreneur, the entrepreneur decides the fate of the organization. Right? If their mindset is correct, the organization will do well. The mindset is insecure and more like a micromanager, more like not a trusting kind of a leader. The organization is not going to grow. The team is not going to go and stay. So coaching does cover all facets, which will help get the individual and the organization and the team to start feeling a lot better about that individual. So if you look at it, these examples were just to give you a flavor that age, gender, role, entrepreneurship, corporate does not matter. And frankly, it doesn't matter whether your organization sponsors you or not, because a lot of people keep waiting for their organization to sponsor them, and they realize that that may take a lot of time. And most of these people, in cases which I have shown, excepting a few, have all been individuals who reached out directly and were not clear about coaching. But after the discussion with me as a coach, got a lot more clarity after seeing the impact which many others have got in the last 10, 12 years of my coaching. It becomes a lot more comforting that, yes, look, I think I'm on the right track. I think I've made the right. In fact, the person below talks about the fact that, I think I proved that my feeling and decisions were correct. Right? He felt he could benefit from this. And after going through 4 sessions, he's still at the early stages of my 10 sessions. He feels that, yeah, I made the right decision. Now I know that I'm the right path. Just to cut a long story short from where I started off with all that we do, right? I wear various caps. I wear a mentor cap, I wear a coach cap, I wear a facilitator cap, I wear a wellness cap, I wear a musician cap. And I think this is the kind of balance. I'm not saying that everybody should wear all these caps, but each of these caps is an experience by itself. And when I'm dealing with an individual, I bring a bit of wellness, a bit of mentoring, a bit of coaching, a bit of things that will make a difference to that individual holistically, right? Thank you. And I think as far as I hope this particular engagement has given you a slightly better flavor of what coaching is all about and how it works, right? I also have a separate video on my YouTube channel, which talks about the ABC of coaching, right? Where we talk about self-awareness, self-belief, and self-commitment. Please do pass on that itself. And some of my contacts are here in case you'd like to reach out either on LinkedIn or on YouTube or directly on mail. So thank you so much and look forward to being in touch. Reach out for any clarification that you may have. Thank you.